You know what this L1 situation reminds me of? Like with all the stablecoin issuers launching their own L1s, it's like that the Oprah meme. You get an L1 and you get an L1. Everybody gets an
Right.
L1. And that's exactly what's happening here. The big story of this week is Stripe and Circle are both launching their own L1s, Tempo and Arc. And we need to talk about it. This is a fork in the road that could really set the tone for all the other major fintechs issuing or supporting stablecoins.
Yeah. Tell me this one thing, like why is it such a big deal for Stripe and Circle to have their own L1s? And why does everyone seem so hyped up about it?
Yeah, so not an easy question to answer, but at the same time, it isn't like that. This isn't something that we didn't see it coming. We did, because especially for Stripe, like they are a private Web2 company that's coming into Web3 simply because they see the opportunity and they want to own the complete stack. They want to be vertically integrated and they want to own from end to end everything. They don't want to
Mhm.
be controlled by anyone. They don't want to be like paying out any blockchains. They don't want to be like constrained by any specific issues that, let's say, that any other general purpose blockchains have. So that's basically the answer uh, in a nutshell. But let's talk about why everyone is riled up about it, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so before we go into that whole thing, let me give our listeners some context as to what exactly we are talking about, right?
Right.
So last week, within a window of 24 hours, we got to know that Stripe is launching their own L1 in partnership with Paradigm, and then Circle came up almost like they were reacting to the situation because they obviously recognize that Stripe is going to be one of their biggest competitors in the US market. So like within 24 hours, Stripe released their own or announced their own L1, which is Arc.
Mhm.
So what are the differences between Stripe's L1, which is Tempo, and Arc of the Circle? Primarily, if you have to take a look at both the companies and what their target market is. So for Circle, the target market is like cross-border payments and payouts. You are looking at like stablecoin foreign exchange perpetuals, on-chain credit for businesses, and most importantly, capital market settlements and tokenized collaterals. This is the market that Circle is playing in, and this is the problem that USDC solves. And so far, their primary competitor was Tether, but the relief for them was that Tether was huge in areas outside of the US, essentially the entire world outside of the US. But Circle was pretty firm in their grip in the US market, and they were Genius compliant from the get go. So they were like they are comfortable in their position, and they were seeing like how to defeat or essentially how to gain more market share against Tether in the international market, like Latin America and Africa and the Asian market, right? But out of nowhere, so this Stripe comes in, essentially telling that, okay, we are going to rival, we are going to be in competition with Circle, and we are going to launch our own stablecoin solutions, our own stablecoin rails, and on top of that, we are going to acquire already established stablecoin platforms like Bridge, wallet
Mhm.
providers like Privy, and at the end, issuing their own or deploying their own L1, which is Tempo. So as I said in the beginning, it's like uh, they have come to own the entire stack of from like owning the merchants, like the people who are actually going to do the transactions. They already have like a million, more than 2 million merchants on their platform using Stripe every day. We spoke in the last episode, we covered Stripe in depth, and we
Right.
wrote that like Stripe is issuing more than $1.4 trillion, not issuing, like processing 1.4 trillion dollars in payments. They just did that like last year. So imagine the
Mhm.
volume that they are processing and what they can do with something like their own L1,
Right.
settling these transactions and essentially owning the entire stack end to end, right? So and again, like while Circle is coming from this whole financial institutions and money managers point of view and serving them, uh, the Stripe is coming from a completely different market and a completely different target audience, which is merchant settlements, e-commerce payment rails. You have got global remittances for small and medium-sized businesses, and other simple crypto to fiat conversion tools. That's the market that they are in. Now, the broader question actually is going to be like, do we really need a bespoke L1 for every single stablecoin issuer or
Mm.
fintechs that support in some capacity support stablecoin payments? So before we go into that, I have prepared this slide. Let me share that and go through that a little bit. Yeah. So this is pretty much a nice visual of what we are talking about.
Mm.
Let's ignore what this section for a minute, and we'll just go like, yeah. So as you can see here, like Arc is it's an enterprise L1 for payment for foreign exchange and capital markets, and Stripe is mostly like merchant focused, merchant first L1. Both of them are EVM compatible, obviously, and they're building it with Paradigm, right? So what we are looking at in terms of architecture support, Arc is purpose built for stablecoin finance, which gives them control over latency and finality guarantees. They also control the freeze burn hooks. They get to control who they blacklist and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and they are going to directly work with banks and foreign exchanges. While Tempo is like, obviously the overlap with Circle is going to be pretty high, but they both of them are fundamentally targeting two different markets. Both of them can decide to target each other's demographic as well, but
Right.
not their strong. That's not their strong tools as of now. So yeah, for Tempo, it's a high throughput EVM compatible L1 that obviously can, like, main focus here is instant checkout finality. They're essentially coming with merchant primitives. They need to have like dispute chargeback features.
Mhm.
Think of a credit card, right? Like in a general purpose blockchain, once a transaction is settled, it's settled. Like there is no
Right.
take that like do a refund or do a chargeback. But especially Stripe is managing clients like Shopify, where you like a
Mhm.
product, you don't like the product, you return it, you expect a refund, right? So you need to have those customized abilities integrated in their L1s. And most importantly, for Stripe, the experience of using this L1 needs to be as seamless as possible, to the extent like the merchant doesn't even feel that they're using
Right.
different underlying infrastructure. Like they don't need to know that they're using this blockchain and that token and they're paying this much in gas. They don't need to know any of that. They just need to know that they're paying customer A and they're paying this amount of money, which will be settled in stable coins. And to do that, the transaction fee is going to be this. That's all. Uh, so and again, the like when we go into the difficulties of using let's say general purpose blockchains like Ethereum, where you need to pay a gas fee, which is obviously will be in the currency, the cryptocurrency, which is Ethereum.
Mhm.
And Ethereum prices can go up and down like crazy. Like just to give you an example, the price of Ethereum has doubled over the not doubled, let's say nearly doubled over the last 2 weeks.
Jeez.
2 weeks ago it was sitting around 2600. Right now it's sitting around to 4500, 4600, which is obviously great news for the crypto
Right.
market. But like if you have to pay transaction fees on Ethereum using the Ethereum currency, you don't really have any a clear understanding of what the transaction fee will be a month from now. So it's a budgeting nightmare. So again, I understand where they're coming from, and this is what we are looking at. Yeah, so anything else that we can kind of want to discuss here? Yeah, so I was looking at like who wins in this market, right? Like if we look at the
Mhm.
24-month lens, specifically between Stripe and Circle, in distribution, the edge goes to Tempo, simply because Stripe has got to 1 to 2 million plus merchants, so
Right.
they don't have to go through that cold start problem where you
The distribution is already solved.
exactly, the distribution is already solved. They have the customers, and the customers will instantly start using the solution as soon as it's live. In terms of transit trust and compliance, that age will go to Arc, because USDC and Circle has been working closely with the US
Makes
regulators for so
sense.
long, right? So like they are already compliant, as I have been saying for all the previous episodes. Like they were Genius compliant even before there was a thing like Genius.
Mhm.
Uh, and then you've got liquidity bootstrapping, which is actually not that big of an issue. But if it comes to that, then obviously USDC has got like a 65 billion circulating supply.
Right.
So they win in that category. The final point that I want to talk about is user experience, and this is going to be a huge concern for Tempo, because when the merchant is interacting with the Stripe platform, they don't want to see any kind of complexity. They don't, as I said, they don't care about any of the crypto stuff or blockchain stuff. They just simply want to see like the payment is processing within seconds, and it's settling, right? And I believe, given their history, and given the experience they have, given that kind of talent they have in building such a payments platform, I believe they will figure it out, and I believe actually they can set the industry standards in terms of user experience in stablecoin settlements and in stablecoin payments. So I will, even before seeing the solution that Tempo has put forward, I will give them the edge easily here. I'm that confident. So this just goes to show the clear comparison between what the both L1s of Circle and Stripe are actually competing against, and who wins in what, right? Then there is the fundamental question of, like, do we need L1s for everyone? Is every fintech that is going to come and issue or support stablecoin payments in some way going to deploy their own L1s? And if that happens, what does that look like? Right. So I was noodling around with this slide here, just to try to put my thoughts together on the points pro L1 and counterpoints against L1. Right. And so the primary case for L1 is going to be sovereignty. It's going to be about total control over every single facet of the infrastructure that you have built, which is, for example, like, if you own your own L1, then you own the governance, the fees, the upgrades.
Right.
You don't have to rely on the parent chain's congestion or any politics around it. And there is, like, as an outsider to blockchain, you will think that this is a simple technology, and there is no politics around it. But there is plenty of politics in the whole L1 L2 thing. There on one side there are purists who believe in supremacy of a specific chain, and then there are other people who want to generally maximize the user experience. A whole different argument. I won't go into that, but again, so do these platforms. They don't want to get into the politics as well. And as I was saying, like, they want to own the end-to-end reliability that customers expect. Like, for example, if a payment doesn't settle for some issue on a specific blockchain, a Stripe user is not going to blame that blockchain. A Stripe user is going to blame Stripe, because Stripe couldn't do it. That's point number one. And then you have got the stablecoin as a gas situation, whereas to use a blockchain, the transaction fee needs to be paid in the native currency of that specific blockchain. As I was saying, like, the native currency of Ethereum will be Ethereum, and you pay the gas fees in Ethereum, but it's so volatile that it goes up and down. So you cannot be prepared for the volatility if you are managing millions of dollars in payments every month, right? So you want to have a reliable understanding of what the gas fee is going to look like a month from now, 6 months from now, right? And for that, if you're only paying gas fees using stablecoins, which is what ARC will do, and I'm pretty sure Stripe will do that as well. Tempo, we don't really have any specific information on Tempo's infrastructure, but the Tempo acquired Bridge, and Bridge actually owns and issues, sort of controls. There is this ecosystem called Blast, and Blast has their own stable coins called USDP. So it's likely a scenario where the Stripe is going to issue their own stable coins in the form of USDP, and then it could be that becomes the native currency of the Tempo blockchain, but we don't know. Anyways, most likely it's going to be stable coins that you are going to use to pay gas fees with. And then you have the third point is compliance, because both of these are primarily targeted in the US market, and if you are operating in the US market, you need to be Genius compliant. You need to have control over every single facet of your transaction, any of your tech stack, essentially, right? So we want that. And if you are issuing or if you are processing trillions of dollars of payment every year, you want to get whatever gas fee that you are whatever transaction fee that you are issuing, whatever the economics of that is, you want the most amount of upside, and you get that when you have when you create this sort of walled gardens, bespoke L1s that is completely permissioned as opposed to a permissionless blockchain. So these are the cases for L1. And on the other point, why not why not having an L2? It comes the question of reinventing the wheel. If you already, it's not really that difficult to deploy an L2 as it is difficult to create an L1 from scratch, right? Like there are already established ecosystems with a huge number of developers who are currently deploying in different L2s. So if you want to have something that is equally reliable and secure and that functions at an equally high level, then you why don't you want it? And I think that the counterpoint on this point will be like, if you have the resources to maintain your own L1, then why not?
Right.
And L2, if you want to basically plug and play with the current L1 ecosystems that there are with the general purpose blockchains. If you create your own L1, you are saying that I don't care about whatever crypto ecosystem looks like right now. I don't care if we are integratable, if we are like interoperable, or if we are abstracting away the issues of interoperability with other partner blockchains. Like, we simply don't care. We want to mind our own business and process this amount of payments and onboard these clients and merchants. That's all. Yeah. So essentially, it's just a private blockchain with no that lacks the essence of what a blockchain is, because like it's not decentralized, and a blockchain is a decentralized network, and they're taking out the decentralization out of it. So yeah, that's one point for L2. Although it quite didn't really become a counterpoint, it just something, a footnote. And then you have got liquidity fragmentation. Again, like if you have got too many L1s, then there is no interoperability. One token is going to be supported in one ecosystem, and you cannot like send like a token from Ethereum's L2 to another Ethereum's L2. It's quite easy to do it. I mean, it's quite easy to do it for crypto people, but when you have like all of these separate L1s, it becomes nearly impossible. So again, like if you don't care about integrating with the entire blockchain ecosystem, you don't care about liquidity fragmentation, then okay, go ahead. And the third point is the code start cost, because if you don't have enough resources, then you cannot create your own L1, because you need to have people who use your L1.
It's kind of related to the first one that you said, right?
Yeah, I mean, all of this circles back to the same thing: is, do you have enough resources? Do you have like use cases for your personal or for your private L1 that you are issuing? If you have it, then other than going against the core essence of blockchain, which is decentralization, as I keep saying, other than that, you are not really going to face any issues. The only thing is, since you have purposefully kept yourself separate from the entire crypto ecosystem, which is decentralized, if you can't manage on your own, then you cannot expect other people to come on and build, like create this organic flow of developers and of users. Like, you are on your own. And since you have all the merchants, and since you have all of the clients and financial institutions and money managers, you are confident enough that you are going to make it, right? And so, like, Circle doesn't care, Stripe doesn't care, and there are like more and more fintechs are thinking of issuing, like deploying their own L1s. Like very recently, we saw actually, I think very recently, by very recently I mean yesterday, I saw Dinari, another tokenization startup, with the fair amount of assets that they have already issued. So as you can see here, like a tokenization from Dinari to launch L1 blockchain, and aim to be the TTCC of tokenized stocks. Like we'll keep seeing these announcements, because as long as they believe that we have the right resources to create our own L1s, we are going to keep creating them, and that's fine if you are if you are worth billions of dollars. Right. But if you're just starting out, if you are a mid-size fintech that wants to come into stablecoins, L2 is going to make much more of a sense, because they, again, an ecosystem already exists there, and by integrating with that ecosystem, like be it Ethereum, be it Solana, be it any other, be it Avalanche, right? It doesn't matter. Like there is somewhat of an ecosystem and some interoperability where you can use bridges to go from Solana to Ethereum or something like that, and be fine. Because they will be facing that cold start problem. They will be facing that that bootstrapping issue, and they will be facing the liquidity fragmentation issues because the liquidity won't simply be there for them. But again, like if you are Circle with $65 billion worth of USDC floating around, you don't really care about that stuff. So this is where we are today.